Okay. We have a motion by Gilman, supported by Max Bauer. Is there further discussion? Ross?
Commissioner Gilman, you provided a rather lengthy piece of alleged economic research emanating from some group in Springfield, Virginia. I'm not familiar with the group and don't know what it is, although I did we noticed that they were a nonprofit, so I was a little curious if you were going to maybe explore whether they were violating their nonprofit status by taking a position on a controversial public issue. Also, I mean, many of the people supporting your right to work resolution seem to have access to that piece because they were quoting from it. But what this is really about is, a trend that's been going on in the last couple of years here, which I generally put under the heading of the financial crisis and the economic problems we're having are all the fault of greedy poor people. If we can just somehow take care of those greedy poor people, and then everything will be fine. This is about driving down the cost of labor, number one, and breaking the political power that unions exercise, as a corollary to that. I will not be supporting it.
Rob?
I've heard a lot of comments about this being about breaking unions, but what I'm reading is simply to give an individual a choice whether to join or not join. Could someone explain to me, how does that break a union? Maybe Ross, you seem to be against this.
I don't believe I used the phrase breaking the union. I said it was a way.
Well, I didn't say, I'm not putting words in your mouth.
I said it was a way to reduce union power.
I mean, why do the unions care so much whether an individual has a choice to come in or out? I'm not seeing the connection between that and breaking the unions.
Well, it's like,
I think the public
it'd be like
comments
getting a
that.
free ride on your taxes. It'd be like, getting somebody to build a new road in front of your house, but, oh, by the way, I'm exempt from taxes, so I don't have to pay for that. Let everybody else pay for it. Give me a service, but charge everybody else. I mean, at some point, there's no point in being in the union at all because someone else will shoulder the burden.
Rob, or Jason?
Some folks might think of it as a free ride, but it's not a free ride. It's, in fact, currently in right to work, you still have to abide by the contract that's negotiated. Okay, that's not a free ride. That's still a limitation. But the opportunity is to say, look, I'm not going to pay to support that negotiation because I don't believe in that negotiation. What it does is it makes the unions more accountable, more entrepreneurial, maybe have to actually compete a little bit in the realm of ideas and consequence. This is a good thing, and it does bring jobs. The statistics are government statistics. I don't care if they're quoted in Alaska or Virginia. They're government statistics. And using those government statistics, it shows there is a correlation between job growth and the ability to choose whether or not you belong to a union.
Ross?
I could easily quote the statistic that Michigan gets more snow than Florida, so therefore the reason we have more job growth in Florida is because they don't get as much snow. It has about as much economic logic as the study that you're quoting.
That's absurd.
All right. Order, please.
Let me respond.
Jason?
That's absolutely absurd. The difference between a natural effect and economic conditioning.
It's no more absurd than the study that you passed out so proudly to everyone.
All right. Gentlemen, if we could not have a debate on this issue. I think a couple comments should be made. First, when we talk about the unions and the union representation, what we hear from unions all the time is that they represent all of the workers that work for the company, whether they're members or not. If you allow people to choose not to belong Whether or not you're going to break the unions, it's possible. I don't know that it would happen or wouldn't happen. But, you know, we've heard from a number of representatives from unions here tonight and over the last couple weeks that whether members that work for the company were or were not members of the union, when they negotiated the contracts, they got those. It's no different than when we talk about how we treat county contracts. We have non-union exempt employees, but we align their contract with the union contracts because we think it's the fair thing to do. If you go to some of these other issues and choose not to do that, then you could have a completely different, you know, class of employees maybe. You know, I don't know how you term it. You know. I do have a comment from Commissioner Newman that I guess I need to read here is because he wasn't here and he saw fit to make sure that I had a copy. Please excuse me from this meeting due to the recent death of my brother Mike, who resided in Atlanta, Georgia. Regarding the item being presented by Commissioner Gilman on the subject matter of the right to work, I have read the resolution and would like to give some perspective for your consideration. During my 19 years on the County Board of Commissioners, we have not taken the issue of pros and cons of collective bargaining and the issue of unions within the employment of the Grand Traverse County. During the past 19 years, we have done our utmost best effort to have good relations with our collective bargaining units, our non-union staff members, and our elected officials. During this time period, I can attest that we have attempted to keep union, non-union, and elected officials on the same basis of compensation based on the qualifications of their position. The County Board has a number of options with Commissioner Gilman's item. Number one, approve the resolution as presented and send it to our state senator, state representative, Governor Schneider's office. Approve the resolution with amendments. Not take any action on the resolution. Not approve the resolution, commissioners would sign a letter on county letterhead to our state senator, state representative, and Governor Schneider's office expressing their personal opinions and acceptance of the resolution as presented and disclose that they are not representing the views of the boards of commissioners. I hope my viewpoints will be helpful in your deliberations of the proposal being submitted by Commissioner Gilman. That's Larry's comment. Dennis?
Go ahead.
I just wanted to point out, too, that I received a letter from Michael Estes today, and I put copies of it on all of your desks, and he asked me to share that with you, and I just wanted that in the record that his comments are before you.
Jason?
One last thing, and Larry in his letter mentioned that we treat the unions and the non-union members the same. There are some union members. When I was doing my orientation with the different departments of this county, and this is not about this county, this is about the bigger picture and our support and hopefully an advancement of a better idea for the state of Michigan. But during my orientation, there was someone who did address a concern. In the last couple of years, they were brought into a union that they did not want to be a part of, and now they are limited by certain work rules, and they would have preferred to save the few dollars a month that they're also spending and still getting the same thing.
Rob?
I just want to share some perspective with the commission. It kind of represents my position at this. Currently, the states that have a similar legislation to what Commissioner Gilman's suggesting, there's 22 of them, and they are Alabama, Arizona, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Idaho, Iowa, Kansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Nebraska, Nevada, North Carolina, North Dakota, Oklahoma, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Virginia, and Wyoming. To my knowledge, there's still unions there functioning and doing what unions do, and representing people. You know, I don't hate unions, but I don't see this as a union killer. I see this as an individual right issue. And as an American, I certainly support the rights of an individual, because America was founded on that rugged individualism that I think we all cherish as Americans. And I hope the union doesn't take offense to that. But I'm looking at this as an individual rights issue versus an anti-union issue.
Chris?
I represent a very conservative district at the moment, Garfield 5. And I also represent the west side of Traverse City, which is not as conservative as Garfield 5. I wanted to let everybody know that, you know, I have a mix of people. I have heard from 2 county employees, one who is opposed to this resolution, who has said, you know, I have the super, I hate to say this, but I'll say it anyway. I have a supervisor from hell, and without the union, I would really be in trouble. I've heard from another employee who said, you know, I don't want to join the union. I want that freedom. I will tell everyone that the reason I supported and voted to have this discussion was because I do believe that the voters that I represent should know where I stand on this issue. And I do support right to work.
Order, please. Further comments? Having seen no further comments, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Lemkool,
Yes.
Richardson,
No.
Thomas,
Well, I've finally decided, yes.
Max Bauer,
Yes.
Gilman,
Yes.
Henschel,
Yes.
Chairman Wheelock.
No. Okay, having, that item will be passed, now we'll move back to our current agenda.
Mr. Chairman, do you want to consider maybe a 3-minute recess to allow people to
The
leave
mass
the room?
exodus?
Yeah.
All right, we'll stand adjourned for 3 minutes.
Thank you all.
Don't.